You are listening to the Pacers Report with Mike Rich every Monday on the Central Indiana Sports Report.
Tipton challenging. He's going to have to get it in. He's having trouble. Gets it to Reggie for three. He's in the lane. He nearly lost it. He backs up and unloads a three. Oh, that did not happen. It hit the back of the rim. It popped high into the air, and it dropped gently through the net.
In 49 states, it's just basketball, but this is Indiana.
Welcome back, Pacers fans, to the Central Indiana Sports Report for this week's Pacers Report with Mike Rich and this week's special guest, Michelle Garmon, of course, the sports editor of the Tipton Tribune and Elwood call leader and everybody's favorite. Pacers tonight lost their sixth game in a row, 126-106 in Indianapolis, of a four-game homestand on their way out west to face Benedict Matherin and the Clippers. Before we get to that, guys, Mike, you and I were talking about before, just kind of the same story every game right now.
It's the same exact theme, same exact players, same exact frustrations. Jarris Walker's looking really good. We're happy he's looking good. This is probably the most beneficial minutes that he's going to get for probably the next 3 seasons. So he needs to be taking advantage of it to make sure he continues to have a place on the Pacers rotation. They were competitive first half, and they came back in the third quarter, but they just didn't have enough. They don't have enough to overcome a team that's going to get ahead of them.
Agree with you, Mike. Also, they're playing a lot of young guys now and getting them a lot of the minutes. And I think that's a good thing. It gives them experience. It gives Carlisle and the Pacer staff opportunities to see them against the NBA level competition to kind of make evaluations. And who knows, there could be trades somewhere along the way, and it gives other teams film on these guys to see. I think it's nice to see Cam Jones get the minutes he's getting.
10 points, 10 assists tonight. That's what you want to see.
And then the same with Peter, the other rookie. It's kind of nice to see those guards get some time, and be interesting to see what the Pacers' thoughts are on their future. It's also nice to get Obi Toppin some minutes too, to see not a lot, and he shouldn't have a lot. It's interesting because I'm not sure where Obi Toppin's future is. Is it with the Pacers or is it a trade piece?
Michelle, you just took 3 of my questions I was about to ask and just answered them and asked the question I was about to ask. Mike, do you think Obi Toppin's part of the future of this franchise?
I think Obi Toppin stays with this team long term. He was too good last year in the playoffs. He's played, 19 minutes in the last 2 games. I'd hate to see him go. I think he's good off the bench. I think he's good in that second rotation. I think he plays extremely well with McConnell. I'd hate to see that chemistry leave the Pacers.
Michelle, a couple of years ago, I was trying to give Obi Toppin away. I didn't like his fit at all with the Pacers. And since then, his game has improved. His fit has improved. I think he's probably part of it. And tonight he played 11 minutes. If he plays 25, he has a triple-double. 5 assists in 11 minutes, Michelle.
And that was a pretty assist that he had to huff on that alley-oop dunk there. I like Obi Toppin. I think he's great for the Pacers. I think he's great for the community. He gets out and he goes and he gets involved. And Mike, there were a couple Tipton golfers that were practicing or playing at Bear Slide, and Toppin went to, and another one of his buddies were there, and he took time out to pose for pictures out there with these kids, and I think that's just great. And he's the kind of guy you want. That's the kind of person that you want on your team, in your locker room, and in your community. My question is, though, is there really going to be room for Obi Toppin and Jarris Walker especially if the Pacers would end up with one of those top picks and end up with the DeBista or Boozer. He's my favorite. AJ. I just call him AJ. So, folks, when I say AJ, that's who I'm talking about. So, that's just the key.
If you have Boozer, you're not going to have Toppin and Walker, I don't think. Because you already have Siakam.
Yeah, probably not. But I think anything we take from New York and is productive, we need to keep it.
Oh, I agree. Anything that we can take from the Knicks and make turn them loose and have them be New York Knicks killers, then it's always a good thing.
And I agree with what you were saying, Michelle. His character in the community and his involvement in the community. I like seeing him with his daughter out there, and he shows a lot of that personal side. I remember going to Noblesville and watching him play with Halliburton with some high school players and some college players and some players that didn't make the NBA. And I think it was his first year here, and just the interactions that he was having with the fans. And I really think that core of individuals that were on that team last year, and I think he's just part of that, and I think he fits really well with the chemistry of the team. Jarris Walker, like I said, extremely valuable to him, and he's stepping up. He had a slow start to the beginning of the season, but he's obviously where we were hoping he would be at the beginning of the season today.
And good to see TJ McConnell have good minutes again. He was spectacular in 14 minutes. He's definitely part of the future. Lifetime contract. The player I really want to talk about, of course, is Quenton Jackson, because Mike, you and I have been saying for months now, Quenton Jackson is a piece next year. Probably an 11th or 12th guy. A guy who's going to play emergency minutes, but he is a piece, and Kevin Pritchard completely agrees with us, signed him to a 3-year contract, and I don't think we're going to see him with the boom anymore, Mike.
No, I was happy to see that. It's a good contract for the Pacers. It provides good depth behind Nembhard and McConnell, and I'm really was pleased to see that.
A lot of good things about him.
Financially, it's not really going to be much of an impact on the Pacers. He took the minimum, I believe,
right.
And the last year is basically an optional year, and next year he's got a little bit of guaranteed money. Low risk, high reward for that pickup by Pritchard. I think that was a really good move on his part. And Jackson has played well. I wouldn't want him to go anywhere else right now.
Yeah, especially if you're going to pay him the minimum.
I think he's proven that he can step up and be an impactful player in a game. And I like having him there. He's athletic. He's learning. He gets better every time he gets on the court. His durability is a little bit of a concern, but you get him for the minimum. Why not? I mean, if you have Halliburton back next year, if you get everybody back healthy, having Jackson is just perfect there, because McConnell's aging. We don't know. McConnell, at some point, his minutes may have to go down a little bit. And I like him. I think he's a good fit, and I love to see him rewarded, because he has played really hard every moment he's played this season. And I think he's one of the Pacers who's made the most of his opportunities this season.
He's reaching the prime of his career, so 27 years old. Really cool to see guys play 5 years in the G League and then become a really good player who becomes a full-time NBA guy. Cool story.
Very cool story.
And he's earned it for sure. All right, every week, Mike and I go to Tankathon.com and simulate what is going to happen in the May 10th NBA Draft Lottery. Maybe the most important date in Pacers franchise history, or maybe not. But it definitely could be. There are at least 3 potential franchise players in this. 2 we're pretty sure about, in Boozer and Devonta. And every week we simulate the draft lottery, and whatever happens, that's what we talk about. You ready, Mike?
Let's roll.
All right. The mock draft at Tankathon, by the way, has the Pacers at number 2, taking Cameron Boozer, and I think that's everybody's dream scenario. But here we go. We're going to simulate the lottery, and Pacers get the 4th pick, go down 2 spots, and get Caleb Wilson is the scenario with this. And I wouldn't be as happy as Cameron Boozer, but you guys know how I feel about Caleb Wilson, and he might have the highest upside of any of them.
I think he's the best of the top four for the Pacers. He's the second best fit, no doubt.
It might go Boozer, DeBonsa, Wilson, but you could make an argument that it goes Boozer, Wilson, DeBonsa. He just is. There's something about him, Michelle, that is he just floats on air. He's got all the instincts. He's got the talent. He's just a little raw.
I'd say he's of those three. He's the last one. He's the last one I would want. I'm actually there on AJ because I think he impacts both ends of the floor, and I think what I like about him is he's hungry, and he's also very good. I don't know if you guys saw the story on him, and he's getting his NIL money, and he's already like turned it into raising money and giving money for some really good cause involving children. And I think that kind of fits in. I was a Carlos Boozer fan, don't get me wrong, as a player, but his sons, I don't know if they've got that hunger. I always like guys that really, it's the hunger because I just like AJ's game. I like it on both ends of the floor. I mean, he's not playing, because his big time teammate is out with injury. So he doesn't have as much supporting cast around him as those other two. And what he's doing, I think is phenomenal. Because I think when you're the target every night and you can still put up the numbers he's putting, that speaks something. It speaks volumes.
Michelle, I got to question your thoughts on Boozer there. He plays hard. He clearly has worked his ass off to become that good at that age. And I think he's going to make the immediate impact. He's not probably as good a defender as DeBonsa, but he's a smart defender. He makes a lot of plays on defense. And I got to tell you, this is probably a bit of an exaggeration, but his floor game in college reminds me of Larry Bird. He just sees everything. He's ahead of everybody. Not quite at the Bird level, but that's the kind of player he is as a power forward. And I would love to have him as a Pacer. Love it. Plus, Carlos Boozer was clearly one of the hardest working players in NBA history because he turned himself from a second rounder who was an afterthought to a serviceable guy, then into a rotation player, then into a starter, then into an all-star, a guy every franchise would want in about 10 years. And his son is starting at a much higher level and is going to be an all-time great, I believe.
Wilson would be nice, but I think it would also be nice to have either Boozer or AJ because if Siakam goes down next year with an injury, one of those guys, that person on that bench, granted, Toppin's there, maybe Walker, but they don't necessarily bring the same elements.
He's got a very high ceiling,
but lots of upside. He can shoot. He's a great passer, very unselfish. And like I said, he kind of floats on air.
He's got good size too. I mean,
6'11", and can play multiple positions. Could play center. Could probably play small forward. Is a great power forward. Oh man, any of those guys. The thing is, they got to keep that pick.
I really think the NBA does rig the draft. I mean, you've seen the stories. Everybody believes it was rigged last year. There are owners that believe it was rigged last year for Dallas to get that after the Luka trade. I think that Utah and the Pacers better give up on getting number one. They've never gotten number one, and obviously Adam Silver's using them, and I don't foresee them getting number one.
They owe us, Mike.
They do. They owe these smaller franchises. I mean,
that's just happened. The Pacers have never tanked. They've always been ethical. They've done it the right way since the Simons took over, and they owe them one.
And it would be way too obvious. It'd be way too obvious if Utah and the Pacers, I mean, that's what, 28-30% chance of one of them getting, what was the chance of one of them getting the top pick? 28%, something like that?
Yeah.
You know who I think if it's rigged, the top pick will go to? Because they haven't been
Charlotte.
Punished or anything? No, I think it's going to be the
Bulls.
Wizards. I think
The
it'll be the
Bulls.
Wizards.
I think the Bulls is the one to watch out for. It's been a long time since that franchise has been interesting. They're the ones to watch out for if they don't make the playoffs. If the NBA is going to rig it, that's where they're going to rig it. But I don't honestly believe that they rig it. It seems like they do. And honestly, if they do, Mike, it just kind of fuels me to us against the rest of the world. And it makes me love the Pacers even more.
I agree. If we end up in 5 through 9, I'm just going to love this team even more. And,
That's right.
You know,
we'll complain for a couple of days, and then we'll say,
yep,
hey,
we'll move forward. We've
the best 5 in the NBA. We talk about 1 through 5, probably the best starting 5 in the NBA next year, and we'll just screw them. We'll win it anyway.
You'll have Halliburton and Zubats. I mean, 2 potential All-Stars next year.
And you still have Siakam.
And you have
Nemhard, and Lee Smith, and McConnell, and Toppin, and
a good draft pick is just a cherry on the top to really give management a headache of what to do.
Yeah, and you know what? And these young players that we talked about that are getting minutes, like Jones and Peter, and even Shepherd, that could also be foresight a little bit of Kevin Pritchard. I think he thinks in the present, and I also think he thinks a year into the future, 2 years into the future, and on has kind of a plan. If the Pacers don't get to protect this draft pick and they're 5 through 9, they don't get it, I'm sure he's got a plan in place with some of those young guys to maybe trade to get a player he feels like the Pacers need that if they don't get it through the draft.
I think this season is just win-win for the Pacers all around. I think, I am looking forward to the lottery in May and see where we end up. And like I said, we'll either be a little upset after May. Is it May 10th? We'll be a little upset after May 10th, or we're going to be super excited after May 10th. And
either way, we'll have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about, but the core of this team for 2026, 2027 is a contender. I mean, there's just no doubt.
And if they get a top 4 pick, then it's beyond that.
It's beyond that. You just have depth and
options.
And I think no matter what happens, they have options. I mean, they got enough depth to still have options.
I have a question for you guys. When do you think we'll see Zubats? Maybe will we see him, Neesmith, and Nemhard, and Siakam all on the floor together maybe the last couple of weeks of the season or 2, because I think they're going to want them to play together a little bit just to kind of, even for Carlisle, just to kind of get a feel how they mesh, because I know they'll work out, but that's still not the same as against
the word inside the franchise is they expect him to play at some point this year.
Right now he's listed for Wednesday, so that's the next evaluation. But today he was listed to be evaluated today to play, so he's close. But going up against the Clippers would be kind of cool to see.
That would be interesting. All right, guys, let's talk about the road trip coming up. 4 games out west. The Clippers on Wednesday, as Mike said, Benedict Mathurin's probably going to score 40 points. And then Friday, they are against the Lakers, so they don't have to go anywhere. And then Portland on Sunday, so they don't have to go very far. And then Sacramento, all in one convenient place. Guys, the Pacers' record on the road trip, Mike?
1-3.
Michelle?
Oh, I'll agree with Mike. I'd like to see him get 1. Hopefully they do 1-3. I don't think they get more than 1.
Guys, you are being far too pessimistic. I believe the Pacers can do it. I believe they can go 0-4 in some of the bottom of the standings. And then if they can get far enough down there, they can bring all those guys back and win some games, because all they got to do is finish in the bottom 3 to get the same odds as the other 2 of those teams. I would love to see the last couple of weeks. Hey, let's see if we can go 4-1. because we're so far in the hole. But I got to say, they're doing a fantastic job of tanking. They're playing these guys. They're playing them 11 minutes, 14 minutes.
I imagine Michelle might be on the same page as me. When you look at the next 4 games, we're thinking it's Sacramento, but I think they beat Los Angeles Lakers and they lose to Sacramento.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sacramento really does not want to win, so we'll see what happens there.
Bad thing is, though, if you're one of those, if you're Boozer or if you're AJ or even Wilson, do you really want to go play for Sacramento?
No.
I mean, you're hoping you're hoping they don't get the top pick or one of the top 3 or 4 picks because you don't want to go there.
I want Peterson to go there.
Yes, that would be perfect.
It would be
the perfect match, or the Wizard would be the perfect match for Peterson.
Yeah.
If these guys are smart, all of them want to end up with the Pacers. All of them.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. No doubt.
Not only are they going to win, but it's a stable franchise that always does right by the players. And if they're smart, they all want to be with the Pacers.
Oh, good ownership, good front office, good coach, and just great locker room. And I mean, you get to play with Halliburton. Come on.
That's right.
I mean,
you get to play with a bunch of guys who love sharing the ball.
Yep.
The future is bright for the Indiana Pacers. Mike Rich, thank you so much. Michelle, you've been a trooper all weekend. Thank you so much. And we're going to talk to Michelle again on Monday, preview some boys basketball sectionals. And so please join us for that. And Mike will be joining me on Greg and his Friends Talk Sports, as Michelle does all the time. Please join me for that. And we will talk to you next Monday on the Pacers Report. Thanks so much, guys.
Thank you.
Pacers.
Thanks so much to Mike and Michelle for joining me. Thank you so much for listening. If you're interested in seeing the Central Indiana Sports Report continue to grow and thrive, please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with a Pacers fan in your life. Also, check out my daily podcast, Greg and his Friends Talk Sports. We talk Pacers, Fever, Colts, IU, Purdue, IndyCar, national sports, and high school sports almost every single day. 6.5 days a week. 6 one day, 7 the next. I take a day off every once in a while. You get it. But pretty much every day. Today, for example. Later today, there's one. It's going to be a good one. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.